Happy hump day, everybody. My name's CJ Curry. We're back taking a look at the PrizePicks board. I've got a few different MLB options. We've done really well in our last few MLB videos. We're looking to keep the trend going today. Hopefully we find success with the picks I'm about to mention. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, we just passed 23,000 subscribers again because we went down and then we went back up. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you slap the like button for me as well. And go ahead and ring that bell. Turn on those notifications so that YouTube does a better job of alerting you and giving you notice anytime I drop a new piece of content here on the channel. Thank you so much in advance for all of your support. Now, if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, they're still doing a 100% instant deposit match. Make your special deposit, get your special offer, link down in the description below. When you go and make that first deposit, use promo code CJ Curry to take advantage of whatever offers, whatever promos and deals they've got going on at the time. I appreciate you guys doing that. It goes a long way in helping support the channel. All right. So what do we have for today's MLB slate? Well, we got a number of different options. We're going to head over here to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. This is my #1 go-to tool when it comes to finding profitable PrizePicks plays. It's a lot of P's. If you guys want to save some money on your first month of the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, head down to the description of today's video. I've left a code for you guys, a special link. You use that, you're going to save buku bucks on your first month. This tool is going to help you profit for the rest of the MLB season, going into the NFL season, and of course, NBA season, and all the other sports that it offers as well, including esports, etc. All right. So what are the top options right now on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer? Well, we got to start right here with Seth Lugo at 4.5 pitching strikeouts. He's taking on a tough Cleveland Guardians team, a team that doesn't strike out a whole lot. They're ranked inside of the top 10 or below when it comes to strikeout rate for the season. So we're going to go take a look at him first and foremost. If we pull up his charts here on the Outlier.bet app. Shout out to Outlier for these fantastic graphics. You can get your hands on Outlier, 7-day free trial down in the description of the video. You can kind of see here Seth Lugo, about a 46% hit rate when it comes to going under. So he has gone over 4.5 strikeouts at a pretty high clip. But when it comes to heads-to-heads against this team here, he has gone over in 2 out of 2 this season, but this will be the third time. And usually seeing the third team for the third time in a season does not usually bode well. So let's scroll down here and take a look. You can see that the Cleveland Guardians versus right-handed pitchers, they rank 3rd overall for the season in terms of K rate, which means they are not striking out a whole lot. There's only 2 teams that are striking out fewer at a fewer rate or clip than the Cleveland Guardians are against right-handers. And that number has crept up a little bit over the last 30 days, going from 3rd up to 9th, but still top 10, as I mentioned before, in terms of lowest strikeout rates versus right-handed pitchers. So you can't really be too mad at that. Hopefully the third time that they're seeing Seth Lugo will fare much better than these previous head-to-heads. But I like to try to present all the information so you have a good, well-rounded idea of which way you should be going on this. But all the juice, all the numbers, all the money's coming in on the under here for Seth Lugo. You can see he's a -177 betting favorite to go under on Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook out there. So don't be surprised if this gets bumped down to an even Steven 4Ks before it's all said and done. 55.1% chance for this prop to hit. As far as projections go, you know I got those on deck for you. We're going to go over here to The Bat by Derek Carty, the most accurate MLB projection model for numerous years and counting. They've got him projected, Seth Lugo, for 4 strikeouts today, closer to 4 than 5. Of course, 5 or more and we'd be in deep trouble, but at 4 strikeouts, that's what we're hoping for, 4 or fewer here against Cleveland. So that's a good projection that has him going under. Let's check a second projection, though, because all projection models aren't created equally. They're all a little different depending on which models you look at. So checking out this one here, you can see that he is at 4.3 projected strikeouts, which again puts him closer to 4 than that 5 number. So let's hope today that Seth Lugo's not feeling so strikey outy and he gets beat up a little bit by this Cleveland Guardians team. But anyway, Seth Lugo would be our first option. for less than 4.5 Ks, which brings us to our second pick. For this pick, we're going over to another pitcher, and this time we're looking at Griffin Canning of the Los Angeles Angels. Again, according to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, this is one of the most optimal plays on the board right now. It's a plus EV play, positive expected value. Just like Lugo, this one's attracting a lot of attention for the under on a sports book like Pinnacle, minus 171 betting favorite. In fact, to stay under 4.5 Ks. So as long as he has 4 or fewer strikeouts, this will be a winning pick. So let's look at this one a little bit closer. Again, we've got the charts pulled up here on Outlier.bet. This is your all-in-one player prop research tool. Fantastic tool. Again, link down in the description if you want to check it out. 7-day free pass. But yes, Griffin Canning does a fantastic job of going under. Here, let me flip this around. Boom. 69% of the games in which he's pitched in, he has actually went under. So fantastic in terms of hit rates, consistency. 3.8 Ks is what he averages for the season. And then, of course, he's going up against the Los Angeles Dodgers hitters who have been red hot. We'll talk about them in just a moment. But in terms of strikeout rate, the Dodgers just 10th ranked over the last 30 days in terms of strikeout rate versus right-handed pitchers. So looks like a tough matchup for a not so good right-handed pitcher in Griffin Canning, taking on, again, a Dodgers team that has just been absolutely crushing the baseball lately. So I'm liking what I'm seeing there. In terms of the projections, let's run and get you those real quick. Griffin Canning's projected for 3.84 strikeouts on the bat. Again, a far cry from the 5 that it would take for him to go over his line of 4.5. So he is projecting under, which is good. Taking a look at a second projection here, and this one's going to be Fantasy Labs, who has him at about 3.9. Let's round it up. Let's call it 4. But even at 4 puts him under 4.5, of course. So we would be leaning toward the under on Griffin Canning at 4.5 strikeouts. That would be play number 2. Looking at play number 3, this one might be a little bit dicier. Right now, the market's kind of saying that Spencer Arrighetti's going to go over 5.5 strikeouts, but the projection models typically they are the ones that kind of dictate what's going to happen in the sports betting market. So for right now, I'm putting Spencer Arrighetti in there under at 5.5 strikeouts. I do think that the odds will change and flip on this one. I think early on, a lot of people were smashing the over at 5.5 strikeouts, but I think as the day goes on, you'll see this flip from a over at 5.5 to an under or less at 5.5 strikeouts. Let's take a look at Spencer Arrighetti. If we go and take a look at his game logs here, you can see that he has double-digit strikeout potential. So the guy can absolutely get hot when it comes to striking out batters. But in terms of this matchup, he's going up against a Cincinnati Reds team that has improved their strikeout rate versus right-handed pitchers over the last 30 days. For the season overall, you're going to see a 27th rank here, which is terrible. But over the last 30 days, they went from 27th to 18th, giving right-handed pitchers more trouble in the strikeout department. So things are kind of looking good here for a potential under on Spencer Arrighetti. I think that's Italian. That's my Italian impression anyway. In terms of projections for Spencer Arrighetti, we're going to go back over here to the bat. Let's punch in his name. He is projected for 4.71 strikeouts, which puts him a little closer to 5 than it does 6. So the 4.71 projection looks like an opportunity for us to bet the under here at 5.5. Like I said, I think you'll see the odds flip on this. Right now, betting favorite to go over at 5.5, but I think by the time this game starts, this will be a play that you're going to want to be on the under on, just based on all of the projections that have him going under at 5.5 strikeouts. Take a look at a second projection. This one's going to be on Fantasy Labs. You can see he's at 4.8 Ks. Even if we were feeling generous and we wanted to round this up and give the projection a solid 5.0 projection, that's still less than 5.5, which is where his line is sitting today on PrizePicks. So of course, we'd be thinking about taking the under at 5.5. And look at that. They just removed Seth Lugo from the board, gang. So if you could find him on another app, another sports book at 4.5 strikeouts, you might want to go get it before they take it down as well. All right, so what are the next plays? Well, I mean, quite simply, as I mentioned before, when it comes to hitter fantasy score, there's no team out there right now that you'd want to load up on more than the Los Angeles Dodgers. And speaking of more, I'm looking at the more on Ohtani, the more on Freddie Freeman, the more on Mookie Betts. I mean, I'm just going to lump all these guys together. There's really not a bad pick in this group of hitters. Ohtani projected for a pretty massive projection today when we go and take a look at the bat. So let's go do that now. Ohtani's projected for 13.96 hitter fantasy score today. Let me isolate that for you so you can see it a little easier. 13.96. So let's call that 14 fantasy score. His line is at 10 right now on PrizePicks. This will get bumped up as it should. Freddie Freeman's another guy here who is projected for 8 hitter fantasy score going up against Griffin Canning. This is a fantastic matchup for all of these Dodgers. Freddie Freeman has pretty good numbers against Griffin Canning in a small sample size. He's projected for 10.62 fantasy score today. So he is almost 2 to 3 fantasy score higher than his line. And then, of course, we couldn't talk about Los Angeles Dodgers hitters without mentioning Mookie Betts, who's at 8.5 hitter fantasy score. He does a little bit of everything. He's obviously got good home run power. He's got base stealing opportunities in his portfolio. I mean, he does it all. He really does it all. Hits for extra bases. I mean, you name it. Mookie Betts has been absolutely red hot. So let's take a look at Mookie Betts and his projection. His projection is also going to be really good at 10.78. Again, his number on PrizePicks is just 8.5. So all three of the Los Angeles Dodgers, I know it's like a broken record, play the Dodgers hitters over their fantasy score. But today is another one of those matchups where against Griffin Canning, they should have a ton of success. If you take a look at some of these guys, we'll start with Mookie Betts since I've already got him pulled up here. Mookie Betts versus Griffin Canning. Small sample size, 5 at-bats, but he's got 2 hits. One of those hits was for a double. One of those hits was for a home run. He recorded an RBI, so that's a 400 batting average with a 1,600 OPS. So Mookie Betts in a good spot against Griffin Canning based on historical matchups. Shohei Ohtani, I mean, what can we say about Shohei Ohtani? He's going to steal bases, hit home runs. He's going to steal multiple bases in some games, and this might be another one of them. Has never faced Griffin Canning before, but Griffin Canning being a right-handed pitcher and not a very good right-handed pitcher, here's what I'll tell you. Ohtani's rocking a 1.112 OPS versus righties this season. If you guys thought I was going to be worried about Ohtani, think again. With a batting average of over 300 versus right-handed pitchers and a slugging percentage of over 700, I think Ohtani's in a fine spot here, which brings us to the last guy, Freddie Freeman. We talked about him. Freddie Freeman versus Griffin Canning. He has faced Canning in the past. Again, a small sample size, 2 at-bats, but he did record a hit. That hit was a home run, which also drove in a run, so he recorded an RBI there. Batting average of over 500 with an OPS of over 2,500. Do I expect that to continue tonight? Those numbers may come down just a little bit after he faces Canning for 3 or 4 at-bats, but still, yes, he has a good history against Griffin Canning and right-handers in particular. So as far as Ohtani goes, hit rates on the fantasy score for the season, 51% hit rate according to Outlier. If you take a look at the last 20 games here, 65% hit rate. This dude has just been on fire lately. And then if you want to isolate the last 10 games, you could do that as well with Outlier. 60% hit rate for Ohtani there. Let's take a look at Mookie Betts. 2024, 47% hit rate on the fantasy score. Again, the last 20 games, just like Ohtani, absolutely white hot, 65% hit rate going over 8.5 fantasy score. He gets another good matchup today. If we look at the last 10 games, 90% hit rate for Mookie Betts. He's only missed in 1 game in his last 10. Absolutely on fire. Very hot hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we can't leave out Freddie Freeman with a 43% hit rate. Over his last 20 games, just a 40% hit rate, but the last 10, he's picked it up a bit as well. 50% hit rate. And then the last 5 in particular, looking pretty sexy here. 60% hit rate for Freddie Freeman, averaging over 16 fantasy score per game. So those are some options for you guys to consider. All the Dodgers hitters, they're all in a great spot. As far as the top offensive stack, top projected team, it's going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers here. The bat loves them more than any other team, projected for well over 46 fantasy score as a team. So yes, they will have Griffin Canning's number tonight, more than likely. So those are your picks, gang. What do you guys think? I know a couple of them got removed from the board before I was able to publish this video, but that's just the nature of the beast. Hopefully you can go on another app, another site, and take them there. Or if they post them up on Prize Picks as goblins, feel free to take the goblins. The payout won't be quite as nice, but hey, pretty good chance that some of these guys are going to hit. Anyway, good luck, and we will see you guys real soon in another video. Peace.